What's up guys, Dr. Ryan here with another episode of Smashing Wealth. In this video, we'll be conducting a thorough analysis and breakdown of Zomedica stock. We will be taking a close look at the recent surge in Zomedica stock price action. I will be going over the ZOM stock news today, which has led to a 330% increase in ZOM stock share price in just the last month. Then we'll take a look at the catalyst, which may have a profound effect on Zomedica stock and its future value. Having the ZOM stock forecast will put you in a better position to making your own investing decisions with your financial advisor. Making the right investing decisions can dramatically increase your overall returns in the stock market, which in turn may make you so excited that you may consider smashing that like button for Smashing Wealth. As always, this video is not financial advice. This video is for entertainment purposes only. Full disclaimer in the description below. Now let's get into it. If you feel like skipping to any particular section, I timestamped each section below in the description of this video. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the chart and take a look at some of that price action of the Zomedica stock today. So you see here that today it had a range of $2.50 to $2.90. I ended the day at $2.66. And you'll see here that it actually started the day, it looks like it opened here at about $2.76. So it actually closed today 10 cents cheaper than it opened. And it went up and it hit a peak as soon as the day started, pretty much at 9:35, 279. Hit a peak there, and then it started trending downward and it hit a low there and then came back up. And then towards the middle of the day, it sunk in again and it came right back up again and went a little bit down and seemed to kind of steady off here towards the end of the day, closing the day at about 266. And you'll see here after hours where there's obviously less volume, it seems to be trending slightly upward. Now, if we go ahead and we click into the 5-day view, you'll see there was tremendous increase in Zomedica price this week. This week in February 5th, we started at $1.70. And it started trending upward, $1.90. You'll see here on February 8th, it hit $2.26. And then it climbed even higher, $2.85 by February 8th. And it went down a little bit, and then it started trending upwards towards the end of the week, where it ended today at $2.66. So if you look at where it started just 5 days ago at $1.70, and today it's $2.66. A huge gain there from $1.70 5 days ago all the way to $2.66 today. If we go ahead and we flip to the month view, you'll see that there is a tremendous slope here. So earlier this month, it was trading at about $1 most of the week. And then when it hit February, something amazing here happened. It went from $1.10 and started spiking upward all the way to where it peaked around $2.70 here on February 8th. It came down just a little bit and it seems to be settling off at $2.66. Go ahead and switch to the 6-month view so you have a wider perspective on what's going on here. September, October is trading around 10 cents, 9 cents, 8 cents. Can you imagine if you got into this at 8 cents and today it's at $2.66? I mean, absolutely crazy. And you go ahead and you click over here, you'll see it went to 13 cents and everything started to change in January where it spiked to 35 cents. And then hit that dollar mark, and now in that $2 range. The year is pretty much similar. The value has been pretty much flat for a while here, trading around the 10 cents, 11 cents mark. Now, what I want to show you over here, which is really interesting, and I don't really see a lot of people talking about it, is here on the 5-year mark, you'll see that there was a peak back in 2018, June 22nd. It hit a price of $2.98, and it's similar to where we are today. You'll see that years ago in 2017 and 2018 and 2019, we had a similar price action like we're having today. But what's really interesting is that now Zomedica is coming out with products that will actually bring in revenue to the company so we could start justifying some of these prices. Now I want to go ahead and jump into this article here. Zomedica stock price and news. Shares remain strong as the frenzy continues. Shares in Zomedica are up nearly 8% on Thursday. ZOM is seeing a lot of retail interest and soaring volumes. And this is good because when you see that increased volume, especially in a stock like this is considered a penny stock. When you have increased volume, increased investor interest, that tends to drive the price up. And it says here that shares in ZOM continue to zoom on Thursday. At the time of writing, shares were up 8%, having touched $3 in pre-market. Now, I would take the $3 with a grain of salt. Obviously, pre-market has less volume, less people trading shares, less shares trading hands in the pre-market, so that you have that increased volatility, the ability to go up to a higher dollar amount. Zomedica, as you know, founded in 2015 in Michigan, and is developing diagnostic and therapeutic products for the veterinarian industry. They have a number of treatments in development, including cat and dog digestive issues. Now, this is really interesting because most of the attention around ZOM stock has been around its diagnostic platform when it came to cat and dogs, when it came to its Truforma platform. And now, if you look at what's going on here, they're actually developing diagnostic and therapeutic products for the veterinarian industry, but they have a number of treatments in development for cat and dog digestive issues. Now, this is good because it shows that they're expanding their product offering. They're not just going to ride on the coattails of Truforma and hope this works out. They have additional products. They're looking to dominate the market when it comes to pets. Now, it says here ZOM shares have been on charge and are up a staggering 1,000% for 2021 so far. So is this the next GameStop? Now, it's really important to look at because it says there's a lot of common characteristics. ZOM is heavily favored by the Reddit community and has seen a sudden, sharp appreciation in its share price. Investors should tread carefully. But in a strong upward trend that may stretch any valuation metrics, money can still be made, but risk management is of paramount importance. Investors could have bought GameStop shares at $300 and made a 50% profit. Just to reiterate, shares in GameStop are now trading back to $50. Now, this is important to look at because they're saying that the actual price action, the value of the shares, aren't being correlated with the valuation metrics, the balance sheet, the income statement, the cash flow statement, and they're not matching up. And this is true. A lot of times the price can be driven up by investors who just get excited about things that are happening. A lot of times the pricing of a stock can be priced in based on what people feel that'll happen in the future. And what happened in GameStop, was interesting. But what I think we have here is a company that actually has a solid product offering that will be coming out, a product offering that's really going to be needed by millions of pets across the country. It could be used by millions of pets potentially across the country. And so there could be a real value here, and this could be a sleeping giant of a company. It says here that shares in ZOM have been boosted by retail investor sentiment. Most have cited the upcoming launch of the company's Truforma diagnostic product launching in March 2021. However, ZOM does not own the technology underlying Truforma, and according to reports, will have to pay NASDAQ-listed QRVO Biotech for purchasing the diagnostic tool. Truforma is based on technology developed and owned by QRVO. ZOM has guaranteed minimum purchase agreements it must meet from QRVO. Shares in ZOM have been touted as being favored by Netflix Tiger Action Carol Baskin appearing back in the company. This is a person who got paid to promote the company back in January, and it actually brought a lot of interest and attention to the company, and people started to take notice of the company. Now the article goes in a little further and says, should I buy shares in Zomedica now? Shares can stray far from underlying fundamental metrics such as GameStop. Share prices are determined by the law of supply and demand and also perceived supply and demand, so they can move away from underlying financial metrics for a period of time, but a short period of time. So extreme caution is needed and an extremely sensitive risk management. While the most recent funding was upsized due to demand, it was done at a 30% discount to the share price, a steep discount. According to Zomedica, the market for diagnostic segment for the global companion animal market should reach $2.8 billion by 2024. ZOM is now worth nearly $2 billion. It would need to capture the entire market now. not in 2024. So like I said earlier, a lot of times stocks are priced in ahead. People see that future appreciation. Now this is interesting because what you'll see is even last year, when you take a look at what happened during the stock market crash, you'll see that there was a lot of companies that after the crash really shot up in value, even though the revenue wasn't substantiating what the share price was. And I think we're seeing a case of that right now. There's really little to no revenue coming into the company because of the product launch isn't here yet. But what you'll see is that a lot of investors are thinking about it and saying, okay, there could be a huge influx of cash flow into Zomedica if Truforma really works out when it launches on March 31st, and if there's a big demand for it, and if the product does what it says it's going to do. So I think we're just really seeing that pricing in of future value right now. And then here it says that shares in ZOM traded near $3 in June 2018 before sliding all the way back down to 30 cents by March 2019. Like I said earlier, whenever you're investing, you really want to do your own proper due diligence. You want to speak to your financial advisor. You want to make your own investment decisions. Any investment that you make is subject to risk, and you can lose your entire investment, even more than that, as you saw in the last few weeks. In investing, there are a few things that are guaranteed. The only thing guaranteed is grabbing your free stocks by opening up your free stock trading account with Webull. Details in the description below. This article, Zomedica Corp announces closing of $173.5 million bought deal. It says here that a veterinary and health company creating point-of-care diagnostic products for dogs and cats today announced that the closing of its previously announced public offering of 91 million common shares of Zomedica at a price to the public of $1.90 per share. Over here it says the gross proceeds are approximately $173.5 million. And they intend to use the net proceeds from the offering for the continued development of its diagnostic platforms, including making milestone payments, if any, as they come under its existing license and collaboration agreements for strategic acquisitions if and when they become available, and other general corporate and working capital purposes, and may use a portion of the net proceeds to purchase some or all of its outstanding Series 1 preferred shares, although no agreement has been reached with respect to the terms and conditions of such repurchase. Now, this is really important because what they're doing here is they're raising additional financing and they're raising additional money. They're intending on using this money for more development of their diagnostic platform. So they're looking on taking money and reinvesting it into the business to create a better product, which in turn should allow the company to garner more revenue. In this article, it says Zomedica stock could rise even higher, but it's still a gamble. Pet healthcare play ZOM stock has gotten ahead of itself, but the party may not be over just yet for this hot meme stock. The music hasn't stopped yet for Zomedica stock. The early stage company has been on a tear since last year. Why? Investors are betting that upcoming veterinary diagnostic product Truforma will be a blockbuster success. Well, there's more to it than that. The initial excitement for ZOM shares may have been due to its growth potential. But now, chalk up much of its recent stock market performance to its meme stock status. That is to say that the popularity of this stock among users of online trading platforms like Reddit's Wall Street Bets is helping to sustain this stock's epic rally. After surging from mere pennies to over $1 per share in a month, some may have thought things are headed to slow down. However, as the GameStop saga comes to a close, penny stocks are coming back in vogue. With the Reddit set bidding up this stock and what's more like gambling than investing, shares can continue to head higher until they don't. Unpredictable how long the madness in this and other low price stocks can last. With this in mind, diving in today may not be the best move. I agree with this somewhat. I think it's unfair to compare it to the rise in GameStop. Obviously, that was a tremendous rise. Here, we're up a few dollars. It's not like the stock went to $20 or $30, and this is some insane, crazy thing that happened. This isn't like, I don't feel that it's wild speculation at this point. With that being said, I am waiting for the price to come down a bit. I am waiting for a dip for me to dive in and increase my position on this stock. Now here it says ZOM stock, upcoming catalysts do not justify its strong performance. Zomedica shares were already up substantially before the recent move from $1 to $2 per share, now up more than 30-fold. Why do shares keep on climbing? It's simple. Those who didn't buy in early are kicking themselves. As a result, FOMO is driving up the stock, and the company can go from 0 to 60 as it starts to commercialize the Truforma pet diagnostic platform. But as our Matt McCall pointed out on February 5th, there are plenty of risks to keep in mind with Truforma's reliance on licensed technology. Zomedica's potential profits from this product may be more limited than investors are pricing in. Not only that, with heavy dilution, both from a recent share offering and as well from outstanding warrants, future gains could be limited. Yet, like many meme stocks, you can point out the red flags and still lose money betting against it. Why? If its short interest heads higher, this love or hate it stock could be the next one to experience a stock squeeze. So now they're diving into the potential that we'll see another short squeeze to see if the shorted interest in this stock increases. Now, I don't think we're in a situation like we were with GameStop where we're going to have this tremendously shorted stock. I think a lot of institutional investors are being a lot more cautious now on what they choose to short. You know, they do understand that us retail investors, we do have power, we do have influence, we have the numbers, and we're able to drive up stocks and we're able to move the market. And I think they're starting to understand that, and they're going to be a little more, careful on what they decide to drive up in the future and why it could be deja vu all over again. In January, many heavily shorted stocks headed to the moon, but as February played out, many of these are heading back down towards Earth. However, while the short squeeze trade is fading, this name could seem to benefit from a retail investor fuel squeeze. How? As of January 15, short interest in ZOM stock wasn't that high, 12.8%. But as it zooms past that $2 price level, more bears may be willing to bet against it. This could be a profitable contrarian trade if this company questionable fundamentals start to matter. But as meme stocks like this one continue to trade divorced from their fundamentals, who's to say that won't happen again? Add that to the potential for more retail investors to hop on the bandwagon, put it together. It's not out of the question for this stock to get up to $3 per share or even $5 per share before it's all said and done. Nevertheless, the possibility of this meme madness continuing is not a good reason to go long on this stock at today's prices. Going short could be dangerous, especially after the recent market volatility. But along with scores of other low price stocks out there, you risk holding the bag with this if you aren't careful. Now, this can be true with any stock. You buy in at a higher valuation while it's trending upward, and then all of a sudden it dips back down and the fundamentals of the company isn't there, or the volume of the people trading and the number of shares on the market trading just suddenly comes down and you're left holding the bag. And like I said, any risk, including this one, has its risk. You should never invest more than you're willing to lose. You shouldn't invest what you're not able to lose. And of course, this could be true, but in my opinion, I do feel that this stock will go to $5 a share. And, I'm personally going to bet my money on it. I'm not saying that's a good idea for you. Like you said, you should check with your own financial advisor. You invest at your own risk. Just my own personal opinion, what I'm doing with my own portfolio. Not financial advice for you. Like I said, I'm here to entertain you. Entertainment value only, this video. So, bottom line, be careful, even if shares pull back. Zomedica may be too risky at today's $2.50 per share, but if ZOM stocks a worthwhile opportunity if it pulls back to $1 per share, not so fast. For sure, the company is worth more now than it was just a few months ago. The commercialization of Truforma and other products will likely result in improved results for its top and bottom line. However, the company's total market capitalization, $2.15 billion, more than accounts for this. Even if the share price falls by 50%, it's still stretched given its potential revenue growth. Per estimates from H.W. Wainwright, I'm not going to try to pronounce that name, but here we go. Sales are expected to rise to $53 million by 2030. In short, even if shares half from there, they will still trade for more than 20 times 2030 sales. That's a high price to pay for current results, much less results 9 years down the road. Shares have a lot of room to fall before they hit a more reasonable valuation. Bottom line, there's only one call for ZOM stock. Be careful, even if shares pull back from here. Now, what I'll tell you is that shares of stocks don't always follow the fundamentals. Now, the fundamentals of the company, the fundamentals of the market may not match up with the value per share that this company has right now. But what I can tell you personally is it hits $1, I'm probably going to pick up some more shares because I do anticipate this stock will go towards $4 or $5 levels. Use the wait and see approach with Zomedica stock. ZOM stock has a potential for posting major gains in the near term. Zomedica is a pre-revenue pet company developing novel point-of-care diagnostic tool for gastrointestinal distress for cats and dogs. It's an innovative diagnostic platform. Truforma is set for commercial launch in March. ZOM stock is up 3,500% in the past 3 months, with a rapidly growing market that's pushed into high gear by, I'm not going to say that word, tailwinds. ZOM stock has immense potential to establish its presence as a first mover in the sector. Very important. First movers advantage. Now, what I always say about first movers is innovators, they either are highly profitable or they get slaughtered a lot of times. And I've always been someone that always like to follow systems, things that are pre-built, things that have already worked out. But hey, more power to people that want to innovate, want to actually take that risk on and get in there and get things done. Not me. But investors want to tread lightly, though, and assess its revenue growth patterns before making a move. Now, if you stick around and you kind of wait and see what happens after the Truforma launch, March 31st, who knows? You might buy in at that $5, that $6 price point. Can't tell the future, just my opinion. Now, I'm not going to wait for that. If you feel that it's too much risk, because it is, you don't know what's going to happen. You can't tell the future. Then you wait. You have to figure it out with your own financial advisor. Ahead of the much anticipated commercial launch of its diagnostic platform, the company is fortifying its liquidity positions. It recently announced that it raised $40 million after its investors exercised existing warrants. As a result, it is in much better shape in terms of its stock price, which fell below Nasdaq's minimum. Zomedica is losing money in its operations, but its cash equivalents have shot up to over $90 million compared to just $1.5 million in 2019. With its finances straight, it can focus on its commercial launch, which should be on the radar for most investors. Now, this is really important because now they're increasing their cash stockpile. And like I said earlier, they're increasing the amount of investment they're going to put towards their operations, developing that product line and ensuring that they have a solid offering for the public to actually start bringing in some of that revenue. Now, with their finances straight, they're focusing on the commercial launch. Now, this is interesting because now they have the money to actually work to sustain their operations. And when March 31st comes along and they actually have some revenue coming into the business, I mean, this is going to be a great thing. And you never know, since they're innovating the market, this may become a household name. This may become the go-to diagnostic provider for your cat and your dog, for medical professionals, veterinarian centers all across this country. And only time will tell. But if it does happen, obviously this will be huge. Now, let's dive into the actual product here, the novelty of Truforma. Truforma is a diagnostic platform that uses disposable cartridges to provide point-of-care testing of blood, serum, and plasma. It uses a bulk acoustic wave technology through its sensors, which facilitates non-optical detection and lab-accurate results. Moreover, it effectively ties into the company's online platform, which streamlines the different elements of its transactions with veterinary customers. So Zomedica's initial testing has focused on adrenal and thyroid disorders, primarily because they are a common problem among dogs and cats. It has been working on a platform for more than 2 years, which will cover a whole host of other disorders as well. The product's results are in line with standard reference lab testing and have similar accuracy to those that are built by Siemens. A few months later in September, the company has announced it will be expanding its capabilities for 3 new assays. This will primarily focus on canine gastrointestinal disorders, which has enormous potential for long-term growth. Now, this is very cool. Point of care testing. is so needed, because a lot of times when you have a test that's done, especially for a pet, what ends up happening is you take the blood, you take the sample, and you have to send it out to a lab, and you have to wait for those results to come back. Now, that turnaround time is time that you have a pet owner, and people are very emotional and connected to their pets. So they want to know what's wrong with them right away. They don't want to wait for a lab to take a day, 2 days, 3 days, a week to get back the results so they know what's going on with their pet. They just don't like that. They want to know right away. This is allowing pet owners to understand right away what's going on with their pet, be able to diagnose what's going on, and help the veterinarian come to a decision on the proper treatment and what they should do going forward. Now, this is really cool because right now they're focusing on adrenal and thyroid disorders because it's a common problem, but they're actually working on covering a host of other disorders as well. Now, this is crazy. I mean, they might open up the floodgates. If they get this right with just the adrenal and the thyroid disorders, and veterinarians start talking to other veterinarians, and this blows up in the space, and then they start using that momentum and taking it to a whole host of other disorders as well. I mean, this company can go to the moon if they're successful, and their point of care testing, Truforma, can actually do what it says it's going to do. And I'm really interested, and I'll be monitoring and updating you guys on this. With market size and growth potential, it says that the accelerated growth in the pet market as lockdown restrictions has compelled more people to keep pets. This is true. The American Pet Products Association estimates the spending in the U.S. pet market reached a new high of $99 billion. Moreover, spending in the diagnostic care market will grow from $1.7 billion to $2.8 billion in 2024. This is important because you want to invest in growing markets. Emerging markets, growing markets, markets that are expanding, where you could become more profitable. And it says here that they have struck a deal with veterinarian distributor Miller Veterinary Supply to ramp up sales of Truforma on the East Coast. This is important because it's good to have a great distributor, someone to get the product out there, someone that can get this into offices, get it into action. If the product works the way they say it's going to work, and there's word of mouth advertising, veterinarians start talking to other veterinarians, it starts getting published in magazines, it'll explode if it works well. Now, it says a few risks to consider, that the bulk acoustic wave is licensed from semiconductor giant Qorvo. I'm probably going to pick up a few shares over there too. Its technology is versatile, but measuring thyroid concentrations in samples is way out of its ballpark. Now, we can't validate this at this point in time until we start seeing independent studies, studies that actually analyze the Truforma product and actually take a look at if it does what it says it does accurately and precisely and gives correct values. The bottom line on Zom Stock, Zomedica's product offering gives it a first mover's advantage in a rapidly growing industry. Great first mover's advantage. Like I said, innovators can either do extremely well, it could be extremely lucrative and profitable, or they can get slaughtered. Here, it looks like if the Truforma product does what it says it's going to do, it's going to be potentially profitable. It says here, in a rapidly expanding industry, growing industry. Yes, as you know, last year, people staying home, the pet industry is growing. People are owning more pets than ever before. The adoption rates have greatly increased in this country. And it says here that the finances are in order, very important, because finances are at the core of any operation. If you don't have the finances to do what you want to do, the fact is you can have the greatest product in the world, but if you don't have the finances to produce that product and get it out there and produce the marketing and the advertising and make sure people know what your product is capable of and be able to prove that, I mean, everything pretty much falls apart. And so it will be a fascinating play. It'll be interesting to see how this works out in the future. Talking about financials here, I'm going to be producing a video coming up here soon. I'm going to be going over the income statement, the balance sheet. I'm going to be talking about the cash flow statement of Zomedica Stock, showing you exactly what's going on with the company. Very detailed look at the numbers, at the money, the sustainability, and how this company can finance its future operations. So if you want to get your hands on, or your eyeballs and your ears on that video, just smash that subscribe button. Definitely turn on the notification bell. That way you'll be alerted when I drop that video. And while you wait for me to drop that video on the financials of Zomedica and the fundamentals of what's going on with the company, feel free to check out this video. And I have a link in the description below for my mailing list. I just shoot out emails whenever I release a new video. Feel free to sign up for the list. That way you'll be alerted whenever I drop a new video. Guys, I appreciate you tuning in. Until next time, have a smashing day.